You're looking at Carolina Gold rice. This is our third crop. We started out with about 3 acres as a proof of concept, proved we could do it, proved we could harvest it, proved we could do something with it, and we did. We were more successful than we thought we would be.
Carolina Gold rice is the heirloom granddaddy rice. It ended up expanding all across the South, all the way from Augusta, Georgia, as far north as Tidewater region of Virginia. Basically, anything east of I-95 was growing rice at the time, and it ultimately became known as Carolina Gold rice. And then all the rice from there was modified and selected from there that then expanded all the way across the Americas.
We can tell you the story, tell you exactly where it came from, where those seeds originated, where our seeds came from this year, all the way through to your fork. We can tell you the complete process, what's happened to that rice, the story behind it, the components that were used in it, all the way through. And I think that story and the people understanding where their food comes from means a lot, and there's a demand for it. That's what they want.
I think in today's time, so many people are looking for authenticity. Right?
Absolutely.
You're looking for authenticity, you know, as you start to think about people are looking for more, they're more health conscious, more aware of what they're putting in their bodies. And the Carolina Gold story is an authentic story. We're very proud to be from North Carolina, right, as individuals. Al and I are both born and raised here. Can't imagine living anywhere else on the planet, right? This is our home. And so to that end, you know, we have a real simple goal, and that goal is to be served and sold in every county of North Carolina, so that everybody can be proud of it, right? Because, you know, we're proud to be the best rice farm in North Carolina. You know, that's something we say with great pride. Mind you, we're the only rice farm that we know of, really, that's selling Carolina Gold, but that is something we're very proud of, is to be kind of carrying that state flag for us.
At Farm Credit, we're focused on family, farming, and financing.
Just like many of you, we've been in Eastern North Carolina for generations, as we serve our communities by providing loans to help farmers and rural residents succeed.
And for the first generation farmers out there, we've got your back too. At Farm Credit, we are your trusted financial partner.
Farming can be unpredictable. Financing should not be. Lean on Farm Credit for all of your financing needs.
Local Foundation of North Carolina will help bridge the gap in the areas of healthcare, housing, human services, and hunger by awarding community grants to local nonprofits with a 501c3 status.
The foundation will be intentional to address some of the vital issues that concern you. Our dedication to North Carolina, its communities, and our neighbors is the driving force for the foundation.
To learn more about the Local Foundation of North Carolina or how to apply for a community grant, please visit our website at localfoundationnc.org. In our state and in many places across the country, there's a notable dichotomy between food waste and food insecurity. It's not easy to bridge that separation and find a solution, but the founders of a North Carolina nonprofit organization called Right for Revival have a plan. Right for Revival has been awarded an inaugural community grant by the local foundation. We recognize the innovative solutions they put in motion to help address food insecurity in North Carolina.
Ripe Revival exists to revive communities through food. And that starts on the farm, where we work directly with farmers to provide outlets for 100% of their crops. And then we use practical, creative solutions to take those crops to people's tables through businesses or throughout communities in North Carolina and beyond. We've got an established network of farmers that we buy from, that we support in our business initiatives. And now we've got a nonprofit, Right for Revival, where we're able to kind of make it full circle. It's the arm, it's the boots on the ground that allow us to take these existing relationships, to take our experience that's rooted in agriculture and to be a facilitator along the way. We like to say we're bridging the gap between farm excess and food access. We take the produce that they have worked so hard to grow. And we provide outlets for 100% of that, making them more operationally efficient, driving more profit back to the farm, and then taking the stress of how they handle their crops off their plate. And it's going to impact a community where they may or may not traditionally have access to fresh and healthy foods. And that makes us feel good about what we're doing, and it sure makes those farmers feel good about what they're doing.
Right for Revival has been big for us in moving a lot of the excess produce that we have. Some years we leave as much as 40% in the field, and we leave it because of cosmetic issues, when nutritionally there's no issue at all.
If we had to leave, just say 40% of our crop in the field, that's income we can't have to grow and diversify into different areas. And so working with them, having a home for that crop allows us to not only benefit communities, but allows us to grow different crops to benefit those communities.
Farmers are very vulnerable in a lot of different ways, and it's very nice to have Right for Revival on our team and be a part of that team.
Will has a great gift again for selling and finding these organizations and areas of need and kind of marrying up the need with the supply, and we have the supply. Primarily sweet potatoes. We're one of the largest sweet potato shippers in the country. Any produce organization will have excess produce that maybe doesn't look quite as like you'd want to put on a retail shelf. There's nothing wrong with it. And Will helps us to move that stuff to organizations and ultimately people that are in need that can benefit from it.
Having local farmers who work so hard but are just so talented and educated at what they do to grow this fresh produce, it takes a lot. But we're so blessed to have a lot of smart, intelligent farmers who are good at what they do on our team so that we can focus on developing the programs for education, developing the programs for distribution and logistics behind it, and leverage their experience, their equipment at times, and their infrastructure to help us succeed. And that's really important for our programs and our partnerships with organizations like Southern Nash High School or Nash Community College, where we're putting in these community farms and relying heavily on farmers to help us be successful.
So it was really exciting to me when Will asked to meet with us to talk about a partnership where we could kind of bring more direct ag into the campus. I like the part about using part of what we grow in our programs here, but using it to benefit his program. We share a common cause in really serving underserved people, students, whatever it might be, and really giving opportunities where opportunities didn't exist before. What I like about Ripe Revival is, again, they're working with the full community and North Carolina communities, but they're also looking at the underserved population, which is exactly what we do.
I am excited to see what comes of this. I think there's a lot of great concepts. I do appreciate Ripe Revival. They're going to come in with the expertise, and they've got some helping hands that are going to come help us along the way. I think that's really good. We're really excited about what we can do with the produce here in the programs.
I'm a city council person here in Rocky Mount, and Ripe Revival has been one of the producers that has helped us when we were going through the pandemic to get fresh, affordable foods in for the community. There are areas in Rocky Mount that were designated as food deserts. In the eastern part of North Carolina, we have too much land to be a food desert.
Well, as a native North Carolinian, I am sad to say there are more in need than I would like. And in our current economic times, the need seems to be growing even bigger. It's sad, but yet there's hope. And I think the hope comes from organizations like Ripe Revival, who recognize the need and reach out to community partners such as the North Carolina Sweet Potato Commission and ask for the help.
We are super excited about our mobile market program through Right for Revival, where we've actually gone out and purchased 2 city transit buses, and we are in the process of upfitting those now to become a retail market on wheels, where we can take that to communities that are really food deserts. And through that market, we're going to have shelving that features beautiful locally grown produce on it. We're going to have refrigerators and freezers that feature eggs and dairy and meat and other food items that are going to nourish these communities, that are going to give them access to things that they may not have access to currently where they are. On that bus, we've also got a cooking cart where our registered dietitian is going to roll that cart off into the street. As these families are walking on and off this bus with fresh produce, she's going to be cooking and showing through educational demonstrations how they can use them. and what, allow them to taste food that she's cooking to show that it can be good and tasty and fun.
So we partner with our communities and meet them where they are. We go into after-school care, we go into daycare centers, schools, and provide programming around fruits and vegetables. So we've done taste tests, cooking demonstrations, and overall just lessons to get kids or whatever audience that we're working with at that time excited about eating healthy foods and incorporating them into their diets.
Transforming these buses into food markets, and grocery stores is a way of getting affordable food out to communities that are still food deserts, but having people to purchase food at the level that they can purchase it.
I think it's an achievable goal to set that we can begin to tackle these problems that exist in a meaningful, lasting, sustainable ways that allow us to create a more equitable food system where no farmer loses any of their crops and every community has food on their tables whenever they need it. And we all live happier, healthier lives. And as we sit around the tables with our families at the holidays, eating a healthy meal and having access to food, it really warms my heart and puts a smile on my face to think about the families that are doing the same thing, that are surrounding tables with their loved ones, enjoying a healthy meal, and laughing and smiling, and knowing that somewhere along the way, Ripe for Revival, our community members, all of our partners, like the local foundation, had a hand in those smiles on those kids' faces and the satisfaction and dignity that those parents have for being able to put food on those tables. Local Foundation, we can't thank you enough for the funding and support of our nonprofit Ripe for Revival and its programs, and we look forward to stewarding those funds in a way that makes you proud and impacts communities across North Carolina.
You're looking at Carolina Gold rice. This is our third crop. We started out with about 3 acres as a proof of concept, proved we could do it, proved we could harvest it, proved we could do something with it, and we did. We were more successful than we thought we would be.
Carolina Gold rice is the heirloom granddaddy rice. It ended up expanding all across the South, all the way from Augusta, Georgia, as far north as Tidewater region of Virginia. Basically, anything east of I-95 was growing rice at the time, and it ultimately became known as Carolina Gold rice. And then all the rice from there was modified and selected from there that then expanded all the way across the Americas.
We can tell you the story, tell you exactly where it came from, where those seeds originated, where our seeds came from this year, all the way through to your fork. We can tell you the complete process, what's happened to that rice, the story behind it, the components that were used in it, all the way through. And I think that story and the people understanding where their food comes from means a lot, and there's a demand for it. That's what they want.
I think in today's time, so many people are looking for authenticity, right?
Absolutely.
They're looking for authenticity, you know, as you start to think about people are looking for more, they're more health conscious, more aware of what they're putting in their bodies. And the Carolina Gold story is an authentic story. We're very proud to be from North Carolina, right? As individuals, Al and I are both born and raised here. Can't imagine living anywhere else on the planet, right? This is our home. And so to that end, you know, we have a real simple goal, and that goal is to be served and sold in every county of North Carolina so that everybody can be proud of it, right? Because, you know, we're proud to be the best rice farm in North Carolina. You know, that's something we say with great pride. Mind you, we're the only rice farm that we know of, really, that's selling Carolina Gold, but that is something we're very proud of, is to be kind of carrying that state flag for us.
At Farm Credit, we're focused on family, farming, and financing.
Just like many of you, we've been in Eastern North Carolina for generations, as we serve our communities by providing loans to help farmers and rural residents succeed.
And for the first generation farmers out there, we've got your back too. At Farm Credit, we are your trusted financial partner.
Farming can be unpredictable. Financing should not be. Lean on Farm Credit for all of your financing needs.
Local Foundation of North Carolina will help bridge the gap in the areas of healthcare, housing, human services, and hunger by awarding community grants to local nonprofits with a 501c3 status.
The foundation will be intentional to address some of the vital issues that concern you. Our dedication to North Carolina, its communities, and our neighbors is the driving force for the foundation.
To learn more about the Local Foundation of North Carolina or how to apply for a community grant, please visit our website at localfoundationnc.org. In our state and in many places across the country, there's a notable dichotomy between food waste and food insecurity. It's not easy to bridge that separation and find a solution, but the founders of a North Carolina nonprofit organization called Right for Revival have a plan. Right for Revival has been awarded an inaugural community grant by the local foundation. We recognize the innovative solutions they put in motion to help address food insecurity in North Carolina.
Ripe Revival exists to revive communities through food. And that starts on the farm, where we work directly with farmers to provide outlets for 100% of their crops. And then we use practical, creative solutions to take those crops to people's tables through businesses or throughout communities in North Carolina and beyond. We've got an established network of farmers that we buy from, that we support in our business initiatives. And now we've got a nonprofit, Right for Revival, where we're able to kind of make it full circle. It's the arm, it's the boots on the ground that allow us to take these existing relationships, to take our experience that's rooted in agriculture and to be a facilitator along the way. We like to say we're bridging the gap between farm excess and food access. We take the produce that they have worked so hard to grow, and we provide outlets for 100% of that, making them more operationally efficient, driving more profit back to the farm, and then taking the stress of how they handle their crops off their plate. And it's going to impact a community where they may or may not traditionally have access to fresh and healthy foods. And that makes us feel good about what we're doing, and it sure makes those farmers feel good about what they're doing.
Right for Revival has been big for us in moving a lot of the excess produce that we have. Some years we leave as much as 40% in the field, and we leave it because of cosmetic issues when nutritionally there's no issue at all.
If we had to leave, just say 40% of our crop in the field, that's income we can't have to grow and diversify into different areas. And so working with them, having a home for that crop allows us to not only benefit communities, but allows us to grow different crops to benefit those communities.
Farmers are very vulnerable in a lot of different ways, and it's very nice to have Right for Revival on our team and be a part of that team.
Will has a great gift again for selling and finding these organizations and areas of need and kind of marrying up the need with the supply, and we have the supply. Primarily sweet potatoes. We're one of the largest sweet potato shippers in the country. Any produce organization will have excess produce that maybe doesn't look quite as like you'd want to put on a retail shelf. There's nothing wrong with it. And Will helps us to move that stuff to organizations and ultimately people that are in need that can benefit from it.
Having local farmers who work so hard but are just so talented and educated at what they do to grow this fresh produce, it takes a lot. But we're so blessed to have a lot of smart, intelligent farmers who are good at what they do on our team so that we can focus on developing the programs for education, developing the programs for distribution and logistics behind it, and leverage their experience, their equipment at times, and their infrastructure to help us succeed. And that's really important for our programs and our partnerships with organizations like Southern Nash High School or Nash Community College, where we're putting in these community farms and relying heavily on farmers to help us be successful.
So it was really exciting to me when Will asked to meet with us to talk about a partnership where we could kind of bring more direct ag into the campus. I like the part about using part of what we grow in our programs here, but using it to benefit his program. We share a common cause in really serving underserved people, students, whatever it might be, and really giving opportunities where opportunities didn't exist before. What I like about Ripe Revival is, again, they're working with the full community and North Carolina communities, but they're also looking at the underserved population, which is exactly what we do.
I am excited to see what comes of this. I think there's a lot of great concepts. I do appreciate Ripe Revival. They're going to come in with the expertise and they've got some helping hands that are going to come help us along the way. I think that's really good. We're really excited about what we can do with the produce here in the programs.
I'm a city council person here in Rocky Mount, and Ripe Revival has been one of the producers that has helped us when we were going through the pandemic to get fresh, affordable foods in for the community. There are areas in Rocky Mount that were designated as food deserts. In the eastern part of North Carolina, we have too much land to be a food desert.
Well, as a native North Carolinian, I am sad to say there are more in need than I would like. And in our current economic times, the need seems to be growing even bigger. It's sad, but yet there's hope. And I think the hope comes from organizations like Ripe Revival, who recognize the need and reach out to community partners such as the North Carolina Sweet Potato Commission and ask for the help.
We are super excited about our mobile market program through Ripe for Revival, where we've actually gone out and purchased 2 city transit buses, and we are in the process of upfitting those now to become a retail market on wheels, where we can take that to communities that are really food deserts. And through that market, we're going to have shelving that features beautiful locally grown produce on it. We're going to have refrigerators and freezers that feature eggs and dairy and meat and other food items that are going to nourish these communities, that are going to give them access to things that they may not have access to currently where they are. On that bus, we've also got a cooking cart where our registered dietitian is going to roll that cart off into the street. As these families are walking on and off this bus with fresh produce, she's going to be cooking and showing through educational demonstrations how they can use them and what, allow them to taste food that she's cooking to show that it can be good and tasty and fun.
So we partner with our communities and meet them where they are. We go into after-school care, we go into daycare centers, schools, and provide programming around fruits and vegetables. So we've done taste tests, cooking demonstrations, and overall just lessons to get kids or whatever audience that we're working with at that time excited about eating healthy foods and incorporating them into their diets.
Transforming these buses into food markets, you know, and grocery stores is a way of getting affordable food out to communities that are still food deserts, but having people to purchase food at the level that they can purchase it.
I think it's an achievable goal to set that we can begin to tackle these problems that exist in a meaningful, lasting, sustainable ways that allow us to create a more equitable food system where no farmer loses any of their crops and every community has food on their tables whenever they need it, and we all live happier, healthier lives. And as we sit around the tables with our families at the holidays, eating a healthy meal and having access to food, it really warms my heart and puts a smile on my face to think about the families that are doing the same thing, that are surrounding tables with their loved ones, enjoying a healthy meal and laughing and smiling, and knowing that somewhere along the way, Ripe for Revival, our community members, all of our partners, like the local foundation, had a hand in those smiles on those kids' faces and the satisfaction and dignity that those parents have for being able to put food on those tables. Local Foundation, we can't thank you enough for the funding and support of our nonprofit Ripe for Revival and its programs, and we look forward to stewarding those funds in a way that makes you proud and impacts communities across North Carolina. Hey everybody, I'm Will Cornegi, founder and CEO of Ripe Revival, where our purpose is to revive communities through food. I'm standing outside the Blue Jay Bistro in Littleton, North Carolina, and I'm here to welcome you to our first ever Reviving the Supper Club Chef Series event, where you get to cook live with Chef Ashleigh Fleming from Blue Jay Bistro. We're so excited that you decided to join us tonight to support our nonprofit, Ripe for Revival, and our mobile market program, where all proceeds from this event will go directly into the program where we retrofit buses into mobile grocery stores that take local food into communities. This bus works directly with farmers where we can purchase their farm commodities, meat, dairy, eggs, and other products, and transport it into communities across 14 counties in North Carolina. The bus also has a cooking cart on it where our registered dietitian will roll that cart off and do educational recipes and seminars with students and families across different communities. We are so proud that this bus offers a pay-what-you-can model so that all communities have access to fresh, affordable, and healthy food no matter what their budget may be. We like to say that our mission is to bridge the gap between farm excess and food access, and buses like this and the others that we're upfitting allow us to really take an intentional approach to serving communities by helping to bridge that gap and taking products to those communities. So we've got a lot of really exciting things in store for you tonight. We're gonna go inside and check out this sweet potato Mai Tai that the bartender has whipped up, and we're super excited to share this evening with you. Let's go on inside.
Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Zeev Sherman. I'm the Food and Beverage Director here at Blue Jay Bistro. And I know you all are excited to get back to the kitchen, see Chef in her element, but I always cook better. Well, I think I cook better. I like cooking much better with a drink in my hand. So we're gonna get you started off with a cocktail before we send you back to the kitchen. Ready, Will?
Let's do it.
Welcome, fantastic. So we're going to make a sweet potato Mai Tai, which I have, come on over. Which I have liked to call my sweet potato. My sweet potato.
Sounds pretty sweet.
It is. It's a sweet potato.
One word. Sweet potato is one word.
Sweet potato. Sweet potato. Excellent. Well, let's make sure we have all of our ingredients here first. So first thing you'll need, shaker. If you don't have a shaker, don't worry. You can use Tupperware. I've gotten pretty creative. The protein shaker kits. Even just 2 glasses, pouring it back and forth between each other. So is that for you?
Awesome.
We get our sweet potato mixer, right?
Tell us what's in that. I mean, that looks great, and it's orange, and we know we have sweet potatoes, but what else is in there?
So, Chef, I can't give you all the secrets.
Yeah, no secrets.
But sweet potato is definitely in there. A little bit pineapple, and then a little bit of jalapeno for a kick.
Awesome.
But it's pretty good. There's also a little bit of almond syrup in there.
Well, no spoilers. I've already tried it, and I know it's great, but I'm super excited to see how you make it up.
It's gonna be good. So we have our sweet potato mixer. You need a measuring device. Again, if you don't have a little measuring device, you can always use a tablespoon. It equates to about ½ an ounce each tablespoon. You need your rum. We're going to use Raleigh rum, really good light rum. You can use any light rum you have around the house, and Myers is the dark rum. So this will just be a little floater on top. And then I think I have, a little bit of lime juice. You can just do the fresh squeeze of lime for some acidity. And then your preferred drinking glasses. Chef has her preferred tiki glass. I have my preferred tiki glass. I don't have a tiki glass.
That's all right. I'll be good. I have a question, though.
Yes.
For people like me that may be driving a 50,000-pound bus home from this event or just may not want to have any alcohol in their drink, what do you suggest to mix with that Mai Tai mixer at home?
That is a good question. So you have everything you need in the mixer itself, but Sprite, ginger ale, you choose.
I'm going with the Sprite.
There you are, sir.
Awesome.
So we have that if you prefer not to have alcohol this evening. All right. I think we got all we need, so we'll go ahead and get started. First things first, you got some ice. I forgot, you need ice, but grab some ice.
And if you don't have one of these, we talked about using a protein shaker bottle.
Protein shaker,
okay.
Yeah, anything you can do. Don't put the ice, there you go.
There we go.
There we go.
I'm learning.
Glass in the ice bin, not a good mixture. All right, in the mixer, you should have these are about 8 ounces. Each drink has about 2 ounces in it. We're gonna make 2 at a time. So we will split this between the 2 of us. So I'll throw this in there. Well, there you are. All right. I'm gonna throw the rum in. Don't put the Sprite in the shaker because that will, when you shake it,
it's gonna fly everywhere.
It's not
make a mess. I'm good at making messes.
Yeah. So if you want to use your measuring device, this is a 3-ounce measuring device. Since I'm making 2, I'm gonna use a full one of these, about 1.5 ounces for each. You can always free pour, but remember, more alcohol doesn't always equate to tastier. All right. It is more alcohol, but not necessarily tastier. All right, so 3 ounces. Also, you can do a 1 and 2 and. Each one of the 1 ands is about ½ ounce or so. I'll throw this in there since that's not going down. There we are. And then we're good. You're just gonna shake. You're gonna shake it up.
Shake without the Sprite.
You're gonna shake without the Sprite.
We're not gonna make a mess. Yep. All right. What's the technique?
You know, whatever.
I should have done this upside down.
There you go, you're good. Technique, make sure you have your hand on top so it doesn't go everywhere, and hand on bottom so it doesn't go. And then, if you want to, well, yeah, you know.
Who does it better?
I think you got it. All right, if you can't get it out, just a little, there we go. We'll put those down to the side there.
All right.
All right. I'm going to put a splash of lime in mine. I will put a splash of lime in yours as well. There we are. Got some other. Good. There we are. You can go ahead and dump yours right in. I will dump ours in here. There we are. All right. You're going to float a little bit.
So am I good to go ahead and pour mine?
You are good to go.
All
if
right.
you want to pour yours right into it.
Oh, I'm not supposed well.
You use your mixing glass. Whatever.
There we go.
If you like, we're going to do a little float.
You can tell I don't have a history in bartending here.
That is all right. And then garnish. We always need something to garnish.
The little umbrellas. That's beautiful.
There we are. Nice little garnish on top
you,
there.
Sir.
Make sure I get one for Chef in there, so she's good to go as well. And I think we're ready to send you all back to the kitchen so Chef can take it away. But cheers. Here's to a nice evening.
Cheers.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Blue Jay Bistro kitchen in downtown Littleton, North Carolina. I'm Ashleigh Fleming. Thank you so much for joining us for the Supper Club series tonight. I have a couple of friends with me in the kitchen that are going to be helping me out. We have Spencer Sweet Potato joining us from the North Carolina Sweet Potato Commission, as well as Michelle Granger. And we also have Tommy Wheeler joining us from Tidewater Grain Rice Company. We will get to know these two and a little bit more about what they do, but they're also going to get put to work tonight helping us. First things first, hopefully everybody has had a chance to pour their drink and relax a little bit. We all need to take a deep breath. It's just cooking. So don't worry if you burn something, if something doesn't go right, if your cuts don't look perfect tonight, don't worry about it. You're cooking at home, just take a deep breath, shake it out, and let's have some fun tonight. Enjoy your drinks, and let's have some fun along the way. We're gonna go right along with the directions that you received in your box. So we're gonna go in order the same way that you will at your house. We have all the same ingredients that you got in your box at home as well. So we're working exactly the same as you are. Let's get our ingredients out here so that we can start working on stuff. All right. So, first things first, we're gonna start our rice. No pressure here, but we're gonna have Tommy cook our rice.
Okay.
He's the man, the myth, the legend with the rice, so we're gonna put him in charge of rice. We're doing a simple, easy method to cook rice. Hopefully he doesn't mess it up. I have full faith that everything's gonna go just perfect.
We got it.
So we're doing the fingertip method of rice. Tommy, you wanna tell everybody kind of a little bit about rice while you're getting this set up and kind of about that fingertip method of cooking. And then Michelle and I are gonna start peeling sweet potatoes here in the background while you're kind of talking about that. I'll move you over here.
All right.
So we can get a nice shot, the camera there, and then Michelle and I will start peeling
Chef,
sweet
you want
potatoes.
it all in the pot, right?
We're going all in the pot.
All right, I like that.
Weird.
Makes it simple. So the rice, we're going to dump her all in the pot here, and then we use this real scientific method called the
You're gonna peel sweet potatoes?
thumb method, or the thumbnail method. It's got a lot of different names for it. And I don't really know how this works other than it's magic, where we're basically going to put water in there up until the water comes just to above our thumbnail. And again, I'm not sure how it works because Ashleigh's thumb's different than mine, but it always does.
Works perfect.
Every time, every time. So that's about as complicated as it gets. You know, this rice here that we're cooking tonight actually goes back all the way to 1685 when it came to the Americas, which is what makes it cool. So this rice is the oldest rice in the Americas. It's the only heirloom rice in the Americas. It's non-hybridized. It's all natural by definition, and every rice that you've had since then owes its pedigree and its upbringing to this pot of rice. We have this through the Carolina Gold Foundation. We've been honored to bring it back to North Carolina and honored to be in your kitchen with it tonight. It's gonna be fun.
Thank you.
So let me get some water before we fall behind.
Absolutely. So we love Tidewater grain rice here. We use it regularly at the restaurant. If you've eaten with us at Blue Jay Bistro, any rice that you've had, from our rice beignets to various other savory rice dishes. Right now we've got a play on a Spanish rice on one of our fish dishes. It's a crab and bacon rice. If you've eaten rice at Blue Jay Bistro, it's that Carolina Gold rice. It's got an amazing texture, a really cool flavor, and it's something really special. If this is your first time cooking it, don't worry, it's gonna go really great and you're gonna love it. Michelle's over here peeling sweet potatoes right now. We're gonna let her talk about what makes sweet potatoes magical. This is my favorite sweet potato on earth right here, this purple guy. And we've got a story about those. She's gonna kind of fill you in on what makes sweet potatoes so special, and I'm gonna dice these to keep things a little bit easy. She was a little nervous about dicing sweet potatoes. And if you're nervous at home about dicing these, don't worry. Just try and get them all close to the same size so that they cook evenly, but you don't have to worry about getting them small and perfect. Just have fun with it.
Thanks, Jeff. It's true. Under pressure with a camera, with an audience, I was admittedly a little nervous about dicing. Even though I thought I could do it, I wasn't sure if I would be quite on time or not. So I was happy she volunteered, and I'll just talk. So this purple one that she said was what she was really excited about these days and using a lot of, it's called the Purple Majesty. And it's one of the newest varieties just released from NC State University. The orange is called a Covington. That too was also bred and created at NC State and was released back in the early 2000s. North Carolina is the largest producer of sweet potatoes in the nation, meaning 2/3 of all sweet potatoes on the market today in the U.S. came from North Carolina. That's how prominent we are with sweet potatoes. This orange Covington, it is our #1 variety. We grow about 90% of our entire crop is a Covington variety. We have many other varieties that are produced here in North Carolina, and we have tremendous farmers who make sure that this world's superfood helps get to plates all around the globe. And I say that because we're also the largest exporter of sweet potatoes. We export to over 34 countries. And it is really exciting to travel overseas and to see sweet potatoes that say they came from right here in North Carolina. As a native North Carolinian, I can say that was pretty exciting for me with my first trip just a few weeks ago. But to have the opportunity to speak to you tonight about sweet potatoes, about our industry, and to represent our farmers is a huge honor because they take great pride in producing this, what I think is really a magical superfood, is what I like to call it. And what people may not know is that it's available 12 months out of the year. It's not just for Thanksgiving and Christmas anymore. It's definitely not just for marshmallows on top. Hence why you have a sweet potato Mai Tai, which I hope you are enjoying. I'll be having mine after we get done here. But you can do all kinds of things with it, and you can use it in all seasons and all types of ethnic cuisines. So I was so excited when Chef Ashleigh said, I want to do something that's a little tropical and fun and with this salsa. So I said, let's do it. Let's go for it.
So Chef, I've got the rice on.
Yeah.
We want it on about medium heat, right? So we're going to try to bring it to a boil.
Bring it to a boil. We're going to work on bringing our rice to a boil. Now, all Tommy did was put water on top of that rice just until his first knuckle. So that's all we want you to do, as it says in the instructions. You don't have to rinse the rice. You don't have to do anything. You're just filling that rice up. Put your finger right on top of the rice, and when water hits the top of your knuckle, that's it.
Yep.
That's plenty of water.
I actually have big knuckles, so I go about right in between.
I have little baby knuckles.
Right.
It's all right.
And I like to use my thumb. It makes me feel more official.
It's like put your thumb in it.
That's
all
right.
So.
And I also don't worry that the water's white, right? A lot of people ask me that question. Say, hey, the water, is it clear? Is that normal? Is there a problem with it? Absolutely perfectly normal. That's just starch coming off. For people that don't like real sticky rice, or if you don't like something that has more starch content, you can always rinse it, but it's not necessary. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the water that turns a white color, and it'll work just perfectly.
So rice was a big staple in my grandmother's house growing up. A lot of our menu sort of comes from her influence. I ate with her a lot when I was growing up. And she used to make us minute rice. And minute rice, the way she made it, had a little stickiness to it, so that when you put your fork in the bowl to pick it up, you kind of got like a good forkful. So I like my rice a little sticky. That's why I don't rinse off the starch. I kind of enjoy like being able to put my fork in a bowl and get like a nice forkful of rice. So that's the kind of method to my madness there. We're gonna bring that to a boil, and then we're gonna cover it. And then we're just gonna set and forget it. There's a time on your instructions. It says about 20 minutes. Now here, we're cooking with propane. It burns very hot. I know that my mom is doing this, and she's cooking on a glass top stove. That's gonna take her a little bit longer. If you're working on an electric stove, one of those old burners, it'll adjust your time a little bit. So just kind of adjust for where you are. There's no wrong answer. As long as your rice is cooked through, you're in business. And what would you say, Tommy? I'm gonna say anywhere from about 12 to 18 minutes is kind of the happy window.
That's right. And you know,
yep.
don't if you feel like you've got it, don't be afraid to try it. Right? Stick your fork in there. Try it. If it's too al dente or got too much crunch to it, cook it a little bit longer. You're not going to break it. It's already dead. It's already pulled off the stalk, so there's no downside to giving it a shot. And if you don't like what you got, do something different about it.
One of my mentors always used to say, it's just food, don't worry. If you mess it up, they'll grow more.
That's exactly right.
Don't worry, Tommy will grow more rice if you mess it up. It'll be okay.
We'll grow more.
So I'm kind of flying through these sweet potatoes, and I realize like I do this every day, and
I know taken me like a month.
Yeah, I know there's already people at home that are like, oh, I don't want to do it. I'm stressed out. So again, please don't worry.
My decision to let you do that. So.
I feel like we need to ask if anybody's bleeding and needs a moment.
Everything will be okay.
Right.
Just take your time.
Band-Aids with the kit?
It'll be fine. Just
totally fine.
Put a glove on it. You're okay. But take your time doing this. Like I say, there's no wrong answer in a lot of this stuff. You know, really, all you're aiming for is to get these as close in size as possible so that they all cook evenly. If your dicing is bigger than mine, that's okay. We also kind of take liberties in our instructions as chefs sometimes. I feel like not everybody knows what I'm talking about, but as chefs, we're moving so fast, we always assume that everybody knows what we're talking about. When I say small dice, technicality in classical French cuisine, that means it's 1/4 of an inch cubed. I don't expect that anybody right now is at home with a 1/4 of an inch ruler measuring their block. Bless you if you are. We're not either. So as long as you get close to that, but if you hit it medium dice, 1/2 inch cubed, you hit it large dice, 3/4 inch cubed, I don't really care. A cube's a cube. It's good enough for me.
So, Chef Ashleigh, should we tell them about why we have Spencer here with us back in the kitchen?
Please. One of my favorite parts of what we're doing tonight. There's a lot of good stuff going on, but please, let's talk about Spencer. Anybody that follows me on Instagram has seen that Spencer and I have had a lot of adventures, at least over the weekend. He worked Expo with me. He drank a beer the other night. He's of age, I promise. We had some good times.
Yeah, so this is Chef Ashleigh Spencer. There are 3 of you that received a mystery surprise Spencer in your box this evening to use. And if you did that, we challenge you to, over the next month, to start posting pictures using the hashtag Where's Spencer Sweet Potato. I believe on your screen you'll be seeing a image that will have that hashtag, but you also will have to include the tag for Blue Jay Bistro, NC Sweet Potatoes, Tidewater Grain Company, and Chef Ashleigh. So include those, and we will be watching. And if you meet our challenge of having at least 2 different posts over the next 30 days, chances are you're going to receive a pretty awesome sweet swag box giveaway. So stay tuned for that. But the real point is, at the commission, we have started taking Spencer with us on all kinds of adventures. I just took him to Europe, and that was where Chef Ashleigh first learned. Oh, thank you, Tommy. I might have this before after we finish here. That's where Chef Ashleigh first started learning about Spencer, and she said, I have to have one. And I said, well, I can't think of a better person to have a Spencer than you in your kitchen. So she has a Spencer now, and she has been helping us with this idea. Actually, the Where's Spencer surprise box was hers. So that's why we are back here in the kitchen, in this beautiful professional kitchen with stuffed animals, but it's really for a purpose, because Spencer's traveling all over the world, and we want to see where you take Spencer and help educate folks about North Carolina sweet potatoes. So we thank you for automatically becoming sweet ambassadors for us.
Let me interrupt to point out that we've got liquor.
Yeah, so I can't drink without cheers. It's bad luck. I got a lot of sharp things. We got fire. I don't need any bad luck. So
And secondly to liquor, we are now boiling. So we need to do something about that, Chef.
So now that we've got rice boiling, we're going to go ahead and put the lid on there.
Check.
There you go. Now, do you turn the heat all the way off on yours?
I like to turn it 99.6% off.
Okay. So when I do this rice, I usually come to a rolling, rapid boil hard. And then I hit the lid, and because I am cooking with propane, because it is hotter here, I turn my heat all the way off for about 5 minutes. Then I kick it back on very low. Tommy's got this nice, gentle method, very safe for home cookery.
Well, you know, we're
my
a team.
full boil is not the best for home cooker.
I'm basically a chef, basically.
Basically.
So, you know, it's like having a mini you over here, so I'm able to modulate the heat as necessary.
Mini me.
A mini you, basically.
Yeah. Well, cheers, everybody.
Yes,
Cheers. I'm feeling shorted on the glass, I gotta be honest with you.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, I brought my own tiki glass.
You did,
so.
you came equipped.
Oh, that is delightful.
This is wonderful. I hope you all are enjoying yours because it is really tasty.
Really good. If you don't have your own tiki glass, make sure.
You're messing up.
Yeah, you need to get a tiki glass. All right, so we're gonna cut the rest of our ingredients for our salsa, but part of what kind of, I guess, frustrates home cooks is why things take so long. You're doing a recipe and you're kind of doing one thing at a time. So you'll notice right now we've got our rice going. We've got our sweet potatoes cut. We're gonna go ahead and cook these while we're doing the rest of the salsa ingredients. So potatoes, we always start in cold water. So if you notice there's nothing in my pot, we're just gonna put our potatoes in the pot, and then we're gonna put cold water right on top of those. We're gonna blanch these. So we're gonna bring them to a boil just until they're tender, and then we're gonna strain them off and kind of rinse them off in some cold water to rinse off the excess starch. Tommy, you wanna put some water in those?
Yep, how much, Chef?
Just enough to cover them, about 2 inches above them.
2 inches above,
Have a little
got it.
water coming out. Are we okay?
Be all right.
All right.
If your rice is boiling over, especially if you have a glass top stove, turn down your heat a little bit. Those glass top stoves, if you put your pot about half on the burner, you've got your lid on there, you'll be in business. When the glass top, you turn it off, it doesn't turn all the way off. The heat is still in that element. So move your pot just so it's half off of that burner. You can tell I cooked with a glass top stove for a long time. Those things are really difficult to cook rice on.
I feel like there's some sick chef joke. You do know that sweet potatoes float, right? So getting, by definition, 2 inches above it.
You did great.
I'm a little damp, but we've dealt with it.
Flooding our sweet potatoes. So just enough in here so that these guys swim freely in here. Like I say, it's cold water, nothing strange. And we're gonna go ahead and put these on the stove.
I don't think that's 2 inches.
Put that one right here.
Oh, should I go back? I was
Did you measure
copying
that?
you.
You have to measure it.
Did
Yeah.
you measure it like I did?
Well, all right. What is your knuckle size compared to mine?
All right, so we're gonna turn both of those on full blast all the way. Make sure we're good stewards and that our pot handles are out of the aisle so that nobody comes flying through and knocks them off. All right, so now from here, we're going to start making the rest of our salsa ingredients. We're gonna wipe down a little bit. I should have probably told you in the beginning, I wash my sweet potatoes before I peel them. They are dirt candy. That's what some of the stickers say that we get from North Carolina Sweet Potato Commission. So there is a fair amount of dirt on them. So I wash those, make sure that they're nice and clean before we peel them so I don't get dirt all over my surface.
Chef, may I jump in and say why there's dirt on them?
Please, please.
Okay. So it is best to keep dirt on the sweet potatoes to help protect them and to help ensure that their flavor and consistency and texture is as you would want it to be once you get ready to serve it. Now, obviously we want to wash them before that time, but we store our sweet potatoes fully in dirt, and then when they get ready to go to the stores, they do get a bath, they do get packaged, but they still should be washed because a little bit of dirt still continues to help protect them until right before you get ready to use them. And that's one. Yeah, it's one of the benefits of a root vegetable, because it likes dry, dark, mild climates, cool climates in storage, and that extra layer of dirt really helps with that.
Very cool.
Yep.
I did not know that. I'm a chef. I just like dirt on my produce because it means it just came out of the ground and it makes me happy. So simple minds. But that's actually very cool to know. So we're going to start with the rest of our ingredients. You should have some cherry tomatoes in your boxes. You should have some jalapenos. Got some red onions. Got some limes. So I'm going to let Tommy and Michelle start cutting. I'm going to put them to the test. So who wants to cut tomatoes? We get somebody cutting tomatoes?
Sure, I'll be happy to.
My hands are full.
Feeling strong. So in the instructions, it says to small dice your tomatoes. You ended up with cherry tomatoes, which are awesome because these are really flavorful anyway. So instead of like a small diced cube on these, you can do a couple of different things. You can cut them in half and keep it really simple. If you had more of a small dice on your potato like I did, and you're shooting for kind of similarity in size, go ahead and cut these into 6. So you would half them and then kind of cut them down again. So you'll cut them in half, you end up with a half, cut that half in half, and then cut those halves in half, and you're in business. So we're gonna get all those done.
Okay.
Michelle, if you wanna knock out those tomatoes.
Yep.
We're gonna put them all in this bowl.
Sure.
When they're done.
Okay. I'm gonna just grab my Mai Tai here.
Yes,
and get
accessories.
I'm gonna
Accessories
get
are
I'm gonna get it out of the way.
You were a long way away
I
from your
felt like
drink.
it was
It made
in the
me
way.
nervous.
So I gave you a little knife. If you want a big knife,
I think little's
you're
gonna be
gonna stick
just
with a
fine
little
for
knife.
me. Yes.
All right. Tell me how you feel about jalapenos. You want to cut jalapenos?
I feel like
You
I
feel
should have
strong?
chose the tomatoes. I feel like there's something exponentially
chose
worse
poorly.
coming.
All right, so we've got some giant jalapenos. These did not disappoint. So good thing is that when I tasted these earlier, they were not excessively hot. So I think we're going to be okay.
Says the Texan.
Yeah.
Right.
That's like trusting a Cajun.
We'll let you taste them. It'll be all right. So what we're going to do with these is we're going to mince. I see that we have a question about why 2 different potatoes in 2 different pots. That is actually a really great question. I put my potatoes in different pots for 2 reasons. One, that beautiful purple potato is going to bleed all over your Covington potato, so it's kind of a fancy appearance thing. And then 2, I think all vegetables cook differently. There's different starch content, there's different sugar content. All vegetables are not created equal. Sweet potatoes are the same. So you're gonna end up with kind of 2 different cook times. You may find, for me, I generally find that those Covington, those orange potatoes are done more quickly than the purple ones. I don't know why, but that's just the way it is. So I always separate my potatoes into 2 different pots. If you just have one pot, cook them together, it'll be fine. So we're gonna mince a jalapeno. I don't wear gloves. Tommy mentioned I'm from Texas. It can't be hot enough for me. I have no fear of like
This is a disaster.
jalapenos. I feel good about it.
I chose wrong.
Yeah.
I have picked very poorly.
I'm feeling very good about my selection.
So I was talking a little bit while we did that jalapeno. So most of the heat for jalapenos is trapped inside this seed pod. This is called the capsicum. This is where most of the heat is trapped. Don't rub this on your face. Don't eat this if you don't like spicy things. It's bad juju. So the way I go about cutting a jalapeno, you've got this big pepper. We're gonna top it. We're gonna tail it. You're gonna set those guys over there. The easiest way, if you are not used to doing this, is to go ahead and cut this big pepper in half so you've got a really cool cuff kind of looking.
Show them slow-mo how you did that little trick.
Like this business?
Yeah, right, because me being a redneck, I always just cut it in half and
just
deal with the insides.
So we're gonna make a slit.
Yep.
And then at this point, it's like dealing with a fruit roll-up. This hand is pulling back, and you're rolling, and you're just pressing in a little bit with the knife.
See, I never would have figured that out
I
ever.
feel like this is a TikTok video within itself.
And then
It really is.
Yeah.
It really
putting your
is.
seed pod over there. Now you've got a really easy, manageable fillet
Right.
of pepper. So you're gonna come back. We're gonna cut this guy really small.
Is there any logic behind, is it smaller the better, or I mean, it helps
So-
you on the end?
Most people don't like. I would gladly eat this jalapeno and like drink my Mai Tai and just be totally
Right,
fine.
live your best chef life.
Live my best life.
Right.
Most people don't like big bites of spicy things. So we try and cut it a little bit smaller to disperse the heat, disperse the flavor,
Okay.
so that you don't get a ton of jalapeno.
So it's a preference thing. If you're a big spicy person, maybe a little bigger.
Really is a preference thing.
Okay.
Now, I'm taking my time and I'm kind of chef mincing this in like probably the fanciest way.
Look, I am dragging this out
Right.
as best I can.
I see that.
Because if I do this right, I won't have to pick up a knife.
See that?
This
I
is
see
your
that.
sweet potato dicing. Yes.
So,
Right.
If you wanted to go about this like kind of in redneck fashion, here's what I would do if I was
If the
you.
shoe fits,
I'll flip
right?
this thing over.
Look at this guy, right?
Okay. Now for the home cook, I didn't spend any kind of time. Ironically, mine all ended up the same size. I have a hard time
It's
doing
perfect.
things bad.
Right.
So if you
Right now, people at home have like a 1-incher, a 16th,
Like,
one's
what
a
do I do with
triangle.
this?
They don't even know how they got a triangle.
Yeah. So now you've got kind of big pieces. You can just come back through and kind of jam your knife at it like you're
This is more my
mincing
speed.
stuff, right? And you can just kind of come back through here and just keep doing
just
this
pulverize
business
it, yep.
until you end up with
Until
something
it
kind
looks
of that
like
size.
yours, kind of.
So if you just want to go machine through that.
Yes.
These tops and tails in the restaurant, obviously we cut those down and continue to use those. We recommend that you use as much
What
of
about
that as
these
you
guys?
can. We fillet that the same way. So you want me to fillet that?
Nope. I'm gonna try.
I believe in you.
Yes.
It's doing okay on tomatoes?
I don't know. What do you think?
It looks good. I feel like we're knocking it out.
I'm really
We're
nervous
making
that your
progress here.
family's watching this at home.
They're the same way. They're all from Texas too, so they're all probably they may have already eaten the jalapeno just by itself. We're doing weird stuff.
Unbelievable.
So while this is going, make sure that you take a minute and check your diced sweet potatoes and see how they're coming along. So let's see what we've got here. So mine are still pretty hard. I can't mush them yet. You can eat it. It's still got bite to it like a raw potato. So we're gonna keep boiling those guys.
I mean, I feel like I would have to mince this until this show was over to get it like Ashleigh's. I give me a 0% chance on working in a kitchen.
This is it's happening.
Fruit roll-up time.
Yeah.
Here we go, baby.
Look at this. This is smooth.
Look at this. It's basically like skinning something.
I should have probably offered you gloves. Is now a bad time?
Nope, it's too late. We're committed.
All in now.
We're all in. I got this. I'm going to find this about half the way home that I didn't wash my hands properly.
You don't wear contacts, do you?
No.
Oh, thank God. All right, I think we'll be okay. So we've got our potatoes going behind us. We've got our rice going. Did you set a timer for the rice?
I've got it on my watch here. We've been going about 11 minutes.
11 minutes, good. So once Tommy's done mincing those jalapenos, we'll probably check our rice and it'll probably be about done. Most of you at home, if you started the rice with us, you're probably getting close to being done if your heat is still on. So our salsa's looking good. We've got our tomatoes cut. We've got our jalapenos cut. The next really difficult vegetable is a red onion. Mincing onions gives people problems. Honestly, it gave me problems for a long time when I was in culinary school. I got yelled at a lot because I couldn't cut an onion right. So it's one of those things that I'm weirdly obsessive about now. We're going to cut our onion small dice similar in size to your sweet potato. So if your sweet potato was a little bit bigger than mine, cut your red onion in a similar size to that. We're gonna rinse it under cold water to take away a lot of that onion pungency that sticks with you. So we'll knock that out here next. These sweet potatoes are just about done. Once your sweet potatoes are tender, you're gonna pull those off and drain them, and then we're gonna just give them a quick rinse under cold water. I also realize that most of you at home are not going to stick your hand in a pot of boiling water, nor do I recommend it. That comes from 25 years of having my hand in hot things, and now I don't feel a lot of heat. So don't do that, but use a spoon or something and fish those out and see if they're tender.
Since we're talking sweet
Everything's
potatoes,
great.
I think we have to tell about the other giveaway that we have, because we
Yes.
haven't even mentioned it.
We do. We have another giveaway.
Yes, and this is for everybody. So it does not matter whether you got a Spencer or not. And you have 24 hours on this one to respond. And it is an enter to win it kind of opportunity. And what you're going to win is a $25 gift certificate to come to Blue Jay Bistro yourself and experience Chef Ashleigh's cooking as well as her stunning restaurant. I cannot begin to tell you how beautiful this place is, and you would not believe it when you get here. So I would just say make your reservations now and come on. Gift certificate or not, but there's 3 of you that are up for an opportunity for a $25 gift card, and all you have to do is in the next 24 hours post at least one story or general post about your Reviving Supper Club experience tonight. And when you do that, you need to be sure that you tag Blue Jay Bistro, North Carolina Sweet Potatoes, Tidewater Grain, and Did I forget any?
Blue Jay Bistro, North Carolina sweet potatoes, Ripe
Oh,
Revival.
and Ripe Revival. Hello.
Ripe Revival.
Oh my gosh.
Kind of a big deal.
I may get kicked out.
I would like to point out, it starts with professional.
Yes.
And it works to terrible.
I mean,
and it's really just an example. I feel like over here, if I did 3 more, it would be a whole
we'd be
jalapeno.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're working our way into a progression
This is
there.
really a management example. The further I've gotten away from proper instruction, the worse it's gotten.
It's happening. This is a thing. It's happening. We're doing good. We're almost done with tomatoes.
Yeah, I have one more.
I'm out.
All right. So Tommy, I'm gonna have you check the rice.
That's my speed.
I think this is a good time to check the rice.
Yes, fantastic.
I'm gonna jump back in here and finish mincing these jalapenos.
How about a spoon?
We've got a spoon right there right behind those sweet potatoes.
Yes, I
Feel
see.
free to use any of those. So this is kind of the old way to mince. Don't feel pressured to do this as quickly as I am. You can kind of go through here and take your time. Make sure that you really get things down to an appropriate size.
All right, so I would say it's a little on the al dente side.
Okay.
So we're going to cover it back up and let it do its thing for a few more minutes.
Okay. So if you started your rice at the same time we did, now is a really good time to check your rice too.
Yep.
See if you need to keep going. See if you're starting to smell that nutty aroma. That means that your rice is probably done and it's ready to pull. If it is ready to pull, just kind of turn the heat off, pull it off of the burner that it was on, set it aside, and then we'll all finish together at the same time. Just working my way, mincing these jalapenos, making sure that they're a little bit smaller so that nobody gets a big bite of jalapeno in their salsa.
It's basically like watching me do it.
It's
like I'm seeing a mirror of myself over here with the knife.
And jalapenos are totally subjective. You can put as many or as little in the recipe as you want. I'm sure that there are some of you out there that don't want any of this in there, and that's okay too. It won't hurt my feelings if you skip it all together.
Very cool.
We've got our minced jalapenos. We've got our tomatoes. Let's get our red onions. Who wants to cut a red onion?
I'm all in. I'll do the onion at this point.
Are you in?
You feel good?
Yeah,
All right, so I'm gonna cut one.
I haven't had myself a good
I'm gonna even give you the bigger one.
Okay.
Because this will be easier to cut. So we're gonna tail.
Yep.
We're gonna split.
Yep.
We're gonna peel.
Peel the outside. When do I rub my eye? Is it now or do I wait?
I mean, now's a really good time.
Okay.
Yeah, because you got that jalapeno juice on there.
Right.
Maybe wait until you peel the onion. Then you got half a salsa blend.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I feel good about that.
Okay. Tail. How do you know which end's the tail for those at home?
So we've always got this kind of root-looking end right here. That's the tail end.
What if you don't cut the tail?
Totally okay. Actually, I go the complete opposite of the way I was trained. The way I was trained is that you're supposed to top it. I'm contrary, as I'm sure my parents and mentors would tell everyone.
I will show you, I cheat when we do all these. I just take this whole guy right here and pull it off because I don't have the patience to deal with that outer layer. It's more a lack of skill, probably.
That's okay.
If I had to identify one thing. But
So-
see how beautiful that looks?
The way I cut an onion, you tell me how you do this. So I come back through here and I'm gonna
Oh, I didn't cut the top off.
go straight all the way in till I get
Okay.
to that top.
I do not have the skills to pull that off, but I'm gonna try.
And then I'm gonna come straight back down.
This is like watching one of those pumpkin masters on the Discovery Channel. This is unbelievable. There is a beyond 0% chance that I will pull that off.
And then you get a nice small dice.
Oh, absolutely.
I think, Tommy, you're here to help make everyone at home
Feel comfortable.
Feel comfortable. So I think the fact that you're owning that is fantastic. And everyone who's watching, just watch Tommy and know you're doing it right.
Right.
Know that you are knocking it out.
All right, so I am going to...
So our sweet potatoes are ready. Now I can mush that with my hands and it mushes. It's still got enough texture to hold that square together. So we're gonna go ahead and pull those and rinse it.
I mean, best case is stitches. Worst case is a whole bunch of bad.
to go that you got it all, and you're not going to have to worry about any of those worst or bad case scenarios. You got this.
Oh, man, I am really focused here. Okay. This is like one of those flaming tower things at the Japanese steakhouse.
Right. So would it be wrong of me to ask, since you're so focused, about the backstory for Tidewater Grain? Because I'm having the best time telling other people about it. And as I'm talking about all of our different events that we keep running into each other, and certainly as we were preparing for this
Right.
one, I would love for everyone else to know, how in the world did you get into this?
So as you can tell, we are classically trained chefs. And no, clearly not. And so we really started because we wanted to kill more ducks. Just call it how it is. We have a hunting club down in beautiful Pamlico County, Oriental, North Carolina.
And it is beautiful. I have been there. It's amazing.
Shout out to the Who. We're technically in Hortonsville. And really, we're a family is what it is. We're all family. Like we like to say our newest addition has been in there for like 20 years. And he's on a probationary period. We're not sure if we're going to keep him.
Okay.
So for us, it really came down to being a family-run and a family-oriented club was how do we create an environment, how do we create a situation with basically our recreational pursuits that works long-term and that we don't have to be independently wealthy.
Sure.
Right? And so we set out to really try to come up with a different way forward and kind of discovered rice. We saw that Arkansas and Missouri and all those guys were doing it and thought, well, gosh, our land is just as sorry as theirs. We ought to be able to grow this same crop on our stuff. I'm making a little bit of a mess here, but I feel like it's almost perfect.
Just gonna move that.
And so we ended up deciding we were going to try to grow rice. Well, then we figured out that we didn't have the ability to sell it because there was no market in North Carolina. There was no mill to sell it to. And with the help of the Carolina Gold Foundation, they really encouraged us to try to grow Carolina Gold rice and to become completely vertically integrated. And so that's what we did. So we went out and set out and worked with Carolina Gold Foundation on seed, and seed access is certainly a big issue still today. And then we set out and grew our own crop, harvested it, built our own mill it, package it, distribute it. Okay, I can tell that I'm getting the judgmental eye of the chef here. So I'm going to set the knife down and go check on the rice.
I feel like it's good. It's good.
I'm not the right tool for every scenario.
It's good. We'll just blend all this together. It'll be great.
Where's my spoon?
Yeah. So, now that we've got our rice, I'm lost. Now that we've got our onion all cut, we're gonna put it all in a bowl. And what I mentioned earlier, what's really key, when you cut an onion, there's like a really pungent aroma about it. Red onions are actually really delicious. They're kind of floral and fragrant and fruity, and that cloying kind of aftertaste that stays with you forever. Sometimes it could be because of the age of the onion, but a lot of that will go away if you rinse your onion in cold water before you serve it, especially if you're gonna serve it raw. So Michelle, I'm gonna send you to the sink over there.
Yep.
If you wouldn't mind washing that, we're gonna wash it about 3 times. So fully submerge it, toss it around in cold water, drain it, do the same thing. We do that about 3 times to try and get off a lot of that pungency.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you that strainer too, so you're in business.
So chef, it's still a little bit al dente, but I'm good with it. That's how I like it.
All right, so we're nearing completion on our rice. So while Michelle's rinsing our red onions, we've got this bowl of tomatoes. Everything's ready for our salsa. Now, how hot are you feeling? You don't want all these in there.
I think we got to go all in after I worked so hard to do it.
All right, we're feeling strong. So we're going all in with our jalapenos, equal amounts of jalapenos and tomatoes. I don't recommend this at home, but Tommy's feeling strong, so I think it's gonna be great. So we've got tomatoes, we've got our jalapenos in there. You got some limes in your box, and you also got micro cilantro. Micro cilantro is something that I have a real love affair with in the restaurant. We use a lot of micro herbs. A lot of times, especially with micro cilantro, they put it in a child-proof pack, so I'm not sure I'm gonna get into it. Just gonna.
I'm on it. See, you're not the right tool for all of your jobs, as it turns out. You can't open a microgreen.
Can't even figure out how to get into my micro herbs. So micro cilantro has more of a delicate flavor in my book. It's not so, a lot of people tell you that cilantro tastes like soap. I think that micro cilantro has a little bit more of a delicate flavor to it. It's not so overpowering, but it really does taste like true coriander. So a lot of the essence of cilantro.
Both, Chef, or just one?
We're gonna open both of those.
All right.
One is gonna be for our rice, and we're gonna use one for our salsa. So you've got a little bit of a root end here. We're gonna cut our root end off and dispose of that.
So what exactly, I mean, is a microgreen? You know, when everybody's hearing this, and you know, this is kind of the rave these days, is trying to live a little bit better and all that. What exactly, where's this come from? Why is it important? What's it add to the meal?
So in some herbs, like we were talking about with micro cilantro, you know, some herbs it's a different seed varietal. Some herbs it's actually just a baby. It really depends on which herb we're talking about. You know, we use a lot of different micros at the restaurant. We have cilantro and basil and fennel and micro bull's bloods. We use a lot of different ones. And we use those, ours are never as like an unthought of garnish. A lot of chefs are just kind of bombing microgreens on things.
So micro equals herbs. Is that safe to say?
Not always.
Not always.
Not always, because we might be dealing with like a micro vegetable or a baby vegetable.
A baby. Okay.
We might be dealing with a micro cucumber. Those things are adorable. They're about this big.
All right.
So micro could be a whole variety of vegetables. It's a size of vegetable. In our dealings today, and a lot of when you hear chefs talking about it, generally it is a micro herb of some sort, or a micro lettuce, like a Swiss chard.
And is it just like anything small? It's more delicate, more flavorful, so it adds a little flavor profile that you wouldn't get if you had a full-grown anything, right?
Yeah. Cilantro tastes a little bit. Taste it. Do you like cilantro?
Hey, why not? I'm all in at this point.
So micro cilantro has a fruitier, more coriander flavor.
For sure.
Whereas like when you're eating full-grown cilantro, it's more cloying. It's like, oh, I just ate cilantro.
Yeah, very floral.
This is like fruity and floral. So we're gonna put all of that in our salsa to counterbalance the heat from all the jalapenos that are in our salsa. So we're a little extra on the jalapenos. So we've got our micro cilantro in there, we've got our tomatoes, we've got our jalapenos in there. We're gonna add our rinsed red onions that are about the size of our tomatoes. And we've got our sweet potatoes that we blanched off and cooled down. So at this point, it's safe to mix your purple and orange sweet potatoes, put all those in the bowl. And then Michelle, I'm going to ask you to get our Blue Jay spoon here.
All right.
And then if you wouldn't mind coming over to that cutting board so everybody can watch. We're gonna stir that, make sure we combine it really well.
Okay.
I'm gonna go wash my hands for safety's sake at this point.
Safety's sake,
I feel myself getting a little too comfortable with my eyes.
This is absolutely beautiful. These colors are awesome.
So it makes a really pretty vibrant salsa. We've got kind of a basic, almost like a pico de gallo, and then we've added sweet potatoes for like a creaminess that you would get from like an avocado with kind of a North Carolina twist. We've got a question that says, at home, do they need to only use 1/2 container per? So you have one container in your box. I'm dealing with ingredients from 2 boxes. This is a great question. You have one container, so half of your container would go in your cilantro or in your salsa. I'm making a double batch of salsa. If you've already thrown all your cilantro in there because I did a bad job demoing, don't worry. The coriander spice that you're gonna add to the rice will be just fine, but it should be half and half. So half your cilantro in your salsa and half goes in your rice. So we're gonna give this a really good stir.
And how would you know it's a really good stir? What is a good judge of that?
So you want to look for a full combination of all your vegetables where you can kind of pick up a spoonful of your salsa and you see a variety of all the vegetables and everything that you've put in there. We're going to add cumin. Two teaspoons of cumin, appropriately measured. We add tahini. Hopefully you all went to the store and got this. Anybody that you meet from Texas, we put this on everything. Put it in Bloody Marys, we put it in our beer, we put it on eggs, we put it on everything.
So it's like the ranch of North Carolina.
It is. This is like Texas, that's the best analogy. This is Texas ranch. The the
It is Texas
personality.
Ranch.
Yeah.
Is all this is.
And then we're gonna put a little sprinkle of salt in there.
I'll have to get some.
Stir it's the stuff, yeah. So stir
Okay.
that around. If you
There's
haven't had
nothing
tahini,
in there that's not hot.
have you
Just
had
so you
tahini
know.
on fresh melon? You
Oh,
haven't lived.
it's great.
You gotta put it on
Really?
fresh melon, yeah.
Yes.
It'll change your life. So we're gonna stir this around. The way we season everything in the restaurant, my dad used to always tell me you can always put more stuff in, but you can't take it out. When I was first learning how to cook, that was his biggest piece of advice to me. So just know you can always add more seasoning to something. You can taste it and adjust it, and that's okay. 2 teaspoons might not be enough for you on cumin. You might really like that flavor. You might need more salt. So don't be scared to taste stuff and adjust it as you need to. We're gonna taste our salsa. I think we nailed it. You wanna try?
Oh, why not?
Michelle, you wanna give it a
I
go?
would love to. Thank you. Oh, that's awesome.
It's really good, and I'll tell you, it's not as hot as my eyes were telling me it was going to be.
Right. So we've got a really good.
Sweet potatoes really balance it out.
Yeah, really. So the cilantro and the sweet potatoes balance with the jalapenos. So you end up with a really, like a nice heat to it. It's nothing overpowering.
Yeah.
Usually when I say jalapenos in North Carolina, everybody gets really scared and nobody wants to play anymore. But you put all this together, everything's going to be great.
That's right.
Okay.
All right, so now we need to finish our rice, right? So we're gonna set our salsa aside. We've got our completed sweet potato salsa right here. We're gonna set that aside. We're gonna go ahead and get our rice.
All I did was pulled it off of the heat, just try to keep it doing its thing.
Okay. So we got really beautiful separate grains here.
For sure.
No safe place for this.
While you're doing this, a little trick, if for some reason it gets more mushy than you want, you can always put it on a cookie sheet, set it back in the oven on 350 for 5 minutes, and it's like magic. It'll take all that moisture out and it'll separate the rice if it ever gets too sticky for you.
So there's a good tricks of the trade there. So
Well, I screwed things up a lot.
Yeah. Me too. That's what we call family meal here.
That's right.
Yeah. So our rice is beautiful. Tommy did a killer job on cooking this. I would expect nothing less. You've got really beautiful, like all separate individual grains here.
It's perfect.
Absolutely
Nice job.
awesome. Like, yeah, really killer. So, are you looking for a job?
Clearly, I'm going to start with salsa prep.
Jalapenos.
That's really one of my specialties.
So we've got our beautiful rice that's finished cooking here. We want to make sure that we take you guys exactly through the right process. So we are going to stir in some more of our cilantro. So we've again got this really beautiful micro cilantro, really fruit floral flavors. I used to have this ABC book when I was a kid that was all these F's, Fat Fireman Foster. Fruit flavor flavors. So we're gonna just kind of mince our cilantro up a little bit. Just so you got a nice fine kind of mince on that. We're gonna go right in the pot. One of the things that I find with home cooks, like especially even when I'm cooking at home, the less dishes I have, the happier I am. So you can certainly take the rice out of here. You can put it in a bowl. That's probably advisable for a cooking process. That way it's gonna get out of the hot container that it's in. But for me, I'm gonna stir it, I'm gonna fluff it right in the pot that it was in, and I'm gonna serve it right out of this pot. I'm gonna save on dishes. So we've got our cilantro in there. Some of you may have seen in your instructions that we get our olive oil from Texas. It's a small plug, of course we have to. So we actually use a lemon olive oil that we get from them. It's a Meyer lemon from Texas Olive Ranch. You can achieve the same thing by lemon zest, lemon juice, and a good quality olive oil. There are plenty available in North Carolina. Just part of what we do at the restaurant is...
Small plug, she says.
Small plug.
You know, see that? It says home sweet home with a Texas flag in the middle of the spoon.
Texas Forever.
And the other one was Texas Forever. That's right.
Yeah. From Texas. A lot of what we do at the restaurant is kind of incorporating the best of North Carolina produce, what's local to us, what's around us. but I have a hard time turning down my Texas. And so there's a lot of Texas influence in our food. And to me, that's kind of what makes our restaurant special. You know, we have an item on the menu right now called a Texalina seafood cocktail. And it's a play on a dish from Texas that I grew up with called campechana. But we use all North Carolina produce, North Carolina seafood, really cool, like North Carolina tortillas. I mean, it's kind of, to me, it's like kind of the best of all the worlds that we could combine. And of course, there's a little tahini in there too. Tahini spice on everything. So we've got our lemon oil, our cilantro. One of you want to hit us with cumin, coriander, and a little bit of salt.
So
just hit it.
Hit it?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
is
good.
that all right?
Good.
Coriander?
Coriander.
Same amount?
Good.
Okay.
Sure looks like salt.
Yep. And then we're going to hit it with a little salt. And then, Tommy, if you want to come over and kind of give that a stir.
Yeah.
So advisable, obviously, is to use a fork, right?
That's right.
Keeps your rice fluffy.
Or even a wooden spoon is even better.
Right. So I'm breaking all the rules.
All the rules.
I'm killing it right now.
Yep. The purists right now are rolling over on us. But you know what? It's still going to be good.
Killing it. So we've got our rice. So at this point, you've got really delicious rice that you've completed. You've got your sweet potato salsa that we've completed. We have a couple things left to go. We've got our barbecue shrimp that we need to complete, which will take us no time. And then we've got a coconut lime vinaigrette, which was kind of an added recipe. Hopefully you went out and got those ingredients. If you did, Michelle and I are going to take you through how to make that right now. And then the last thing that we're going to do is saute our shrimp. So,
all right.
Our coconut lime vinaigrette couldn't be any easier. It's coconut milk, sugar, rice wine vinegar, lime zest, and lime juice. Can't get any easier. That's all the ingredients that are in there. So when we're zesting a lime, what do you think?
I think
Success?
it's perfect. I think it's us.
Success. Do you want to give it a taste?
Oh, I feel like I'd have to. Let me get my Texas spoon over here.
Do you want?
No, I've got a whole collection of hardware over here by this point. It's basically a 5-course meal the way I'm doing it.
Well, I knew I had our coconut milk here somewhere.
Oh, that's really good.
Did we nail it?
It smells great.
That is killer.
What's wrong?
It's really, really
Can I have
good.
some coconut milk? On the shelf over there. I lost my coconut milk. Oh, I found it. Never mind.
I'm surprised how much
I found it.
floral from the micrograins that you taste of the cilantro and all that.
Really good, right?
It's really good. You know, and having ate it raw, I have the palate that is dialed in to identify it, and you really can tell it. It's really cool.
Brings out some fruity, some floral notes in it.
Tommy, we got a question that's
Question for you.
specifically for you that Ashley and I cannot answer.
What do they need to do for an invite to hunt? Well, we have a real soft spot for kids, so if you're under 17, we can probably talk. If not, like I said, we're talking about kicking out the guy that we've known 20 years anyway, but then we have to start this whole vetting process all over again, and then you get invited.
Fair answer.
It's fair enough.
A hunt club is a hunt club.
Well, it's a family thing,
That's
you know?
right,
And
exactly.
we don't have a lot of formality around our parts, so we talk to each other like we're family, unfortunately. It takes a bit to get used to us.
Am I on your way?
Nope, you're good.
I'm not going to put my spoon down because I'm going to need it again.
All right, so we got a full can of coconut milk here, per your instructions. We're going to zest a lime.
Yep.
You feel good about zesting?
I do. I love to zest.
Zest. So real important when you're zesting, make sure you kind of go down just that one layer.
Right. And do we want to get the whole lime?
We're going to zest the whole lime.
Okay, just checking. I didn't want to get over eager and you tell me I overdid it.
This brings back nightmares. When I grew up in church, I started off as the cheese grater, was my intro. It took me years to migrate to biscuits. That's all I can tell you at the Methodist Church in Rockingham. I have so many questions now that I'm older, like, why didn't we buy shredded cheese? That's the first one. That's the first one I ask. Yeah, it was horrible.
All right, I think we've successfully
All right.
zested. So
Take our zest and
Yep, go ahead and dump it all in there. So everybody at home, hopefully you saw kind of how Michelle did that. She's got a really cool zesting technique where she's kind of pushing the zester on the other side. Mine is a little bit different, and you can do whatever suits you at home. If you've never used a microplane before, I just kind of go straight down.
yours admittedly seems a lot more efficient. I'm just going to go
mass
out there and
production
say
mode.
yes.
Either way, there's no right, no wrong way, just maybe less prone to hurt yourself, going away from yourself. And then we're gonna go ahead and juice this lime as well. I always kind of squeeze my limes a little bit, roll them on the cutting board. That kind of releases some of the ribs inside the lime. It's gonna free up some juice, make your life a little easier. I have a very fancy juicer tool. If you don't have one of these, it's okay. Your hands work just fine. So Michelle, if you wouldn't mind squeezing half of that lime in there.
So just half of this half.
Yeah, and really,
okay.
Like you're gonna squeeze that whole half.
Oh, the whole
Squeeze
half. That's what I was trying to clarify.
There you go.
Is which half are we talking about here?
The whole half.
Okay.
The whole half.
All right.
All right.
Got it.
We're gonna toss that. We'll put this guy away.
Okay.
And then we're going to add some rice wine vinegar.
And you had this already measured out?
I did.
Okay.
If you want to go ahead and zest that, we've got, or whisk that. It's about a tablespoon of lime juice. It's about 3 ounces of white wine vinegar for a whole can of coconut milk. You're operating at a 14 to 16 ounce can of coconut milk, which is pretty much what they are all at the grocery store. And then we're also gonna sprinkle a little bit of sugar in there. It's a couple tablespoons of sugar. If you didn't have sugar and wanted to use local honey, obviously that would work just as well, if not better. We use sugar, it's readily available and easy to get, so. You're just gonna wanna whisk that until it comes together. It comes together really quickly, so it's, you know, some vinaigrettes, you're like over there whisking forever, waiting for stuff to come together. This one's pretty smooth and easy. Give it another little taste and make sure that we have enough sugar in there. We said 2 tablespoons of sugar. This is really kind of up to you. You know, a lot of people like their vinaigrette a little sweeter. Some people like it a little tangier. I like this one a little bit sweeter. Brings out some of the coconut, and I really like that. So I add a little bit of extra sugar to mine. But that's about it. It's a very light vinaigrette. We'll set that aside, and we're going to dress our salad with that at the end.
Okay. You think we're
It
good
looks
with
good to
that?
me.
Okay.
So at this point, we've got our salsa made. We've got our vinaigrette made. We've got our rice done. We're looking really good. The last bit of what we need to do is get our shrimp done. So it's time to do hot things, hot important things. So you should have, by now, when you got your box, thawed out your shrimp, peeled them down to the tail. If you peeled the tail off, that's totally fine. It's a complete matter of preference. I think my dad, somebody always told me that the tail was like a handle. So, but if you pulled the tail off, it's okay, don't worry about it. Do you like the tail? You like tail on your shrimp?
You know, we're equal opportunity there in Pamlico County. We'll eat them about any way we can get it.
Fair enough.
Especially this time of year, you know, it's we get after them pretty good.
All right.
You know, tail on is like date night shrimp. You know,
it's like fancy shrimp.
it's fancy shrimp.
Yeah,
you
I
take
got
the tail off and you're sending the message of, I'm here to get down. You know,
It's all business.
it's all business
Right.
at that point. And if it's not peeled, that's like the in-law recipe. It's like, I only want you to eat 4 or 5 shrimp. I'm trying to slow you down.
Fair enough. All right, so in your box, you got a pound of shrimp and a packet of seasoning. I've got 2 packets and 2 pounds of shrimp. I heard Tommy wanted to eat a little bit tonight,
yeah.
so we're gonna throw down. Completely up to you. I recommend putting the whole packet of seasoning in there. You know, I find that a lot of times, especially home cooks, they're scared to season their meat, scared to season their food. Don't be scared, it'll be okay. So we're gonna get all that seasoning in there. The seasoning that you have already has salt and pepper and all that in there. There's no need to add anything else to this. It's ready to go. What do you think? Does it smell all right?
Tommy,
that
I
does
think
smell
someone's
good.
concerned about your drink.
They're worried about my hydration program.
Yes, right.
Somebody's question was, where's Tommy's drink? I think it's time for a sip. Okay. Let's give the public what they want.
I was going to say, how can you deny that? I mean,
You know,
yeah.
this is supposed to be an interactive affair.
All right, so we're gonna turn on our pans here. We're just gonna go with nondescript. We use blended oil for cooking.
Okay.
Whatever you use at the house is totally fine. I think
How
there's
hot do you try to get it here, Chef? You trying to get it just where it sizzles when you go in, or you want it scalding hot?
You want to sizzle.
Okay.
You don't want to fire.
Okay.
So I think we'll be able to see on the camera here, you know, a lot of chefs' recipes, they always say wait until the oil shimmers.
Yep.
And everybody's like, well, what the hell is a shimmer? So when you start to see basically like wrinkles, I call them wrinkles.
Okay.
They look like wrinkles to me and not shimmers.
Sure.
So when you start to see kind of wrinkles in your oil like that,
Yeah,
you
I
move it
see it.
around and
Yep.
you see that, you're ready to go.
Okay.
Now, if you're kind of one of those people that's scared of the fire, worried that you're going to get a big flare up, feel free to shut off the flame when you're putting your shrimp in. It will flare up on you a little bit. So whatever you need to do. We're going to put about half of our shrimp in one pan.
I like that Chef Ashleigh said, you know, turn it off if you're scared.
Right.
And then her inner Texan came out, she turned it wide open.
Exactly. I picked up on that as well.
Right. Like, I'll
But
show
I
y'all
wasn't
how
sure
to do
if
it.
the cameras picked up on it, so I'm
Right.
glad you pointed that out, because that's exactly what she did.
Full throttle.
Yeah, full
No
throttle.
fear. So we've got our shrimp in a nice even layer. You don't want to crowd them in the pan. If your pan is a little bit small and you've got them crowded in there a little bit, make sure that you kind of give them space to breathe and space to live. You should hear them simmering and kind of popping a little bit while they're cooking. We use a blended oil, so it's an olive and vegetable oil blend, 80-20. At my house, I use a really simple, I buy it at the Lake Gaston Food Line. It's a Bertolli cooking olive oil. It's what I use at the house. There's no shame in my game. It's like $4. It's totally fine for cooking at home. We don't use it at the restaurant, but it's just fine. So we're gonna let our shrimp kind of simmer a little bit. Once you see your shrimp, you see we've got these guys turning pink on the sides here?
Yep.
Yes.
That's how you know we're getting really close. One of the reasons I picked shrimp is that I know we're hungry at this point. You've got some drinks in you. We've made our salsa. Our salsa was very painstaking. We've cut our jalapenos. We've worked hard.
It's unbelievable, the salsa.
So we're ready to eat now, you
Labored.
know? So shrimp cook pretty quickly. Once you get a nice, you can see on the sides, we're starting to turn pink. So we're gonna start flipping those over.
Now, how would you recommend to them to flip them over if they don't have those fancy cooking tweezers, or I don't know what the proper tool name would be?
You can achieve the same thing with a fork.
Okay.
And I guarantee you my mom is probably at home with a fork sticking them in there.
This looks like a medical device.
Right.
Like I'm gonna have Amazon this later and pick me up a pair of these. Like forceps or something, like from the operating room.
Get a lot of comments about my tweezers.
I think it's great. I just had never seen it, and I wanted to make sure those at home didn't fret as soon as they saw you using it. It certainly is efficient that way.
Once we flip all these, and we're gonna pour all our shrimp in one pan so that they all steam together, just for sake of quantity that we've got going on here. We're gonna flip all our shrimp. I've cut the heat off.
They've crisped up perfectly.
We're gonna combine our shrimp into one pan. Like I say, because we've got a quantity thing happening here. Once your shrimp is all flipped, you're gonna add 3 tablespoons of butter. We've got 6 because we're doing a double batch. We're gonna cut our heat back on, and then you're gonna wanna cover your shrimp a little bit. Now at home, you probably have a lid.
The lid you use for the rice would probably work depending on your pot size or your pan
Yeah.
size, right?
Probably working with the lid that you have from the rice, or you can invert another pan over there. Either way, whatever works for you. You don't want to leave that heat on too long. It's a very quick process. So we invert it, let them steam, let the butter melt, and then turn it off and kind of walk away. So we're gonna leave that on the heat like that. The heat is off, the pan is still covered, so they're still continuing to cook and steam in there. We're gonna start to plate our dish. So we've got our lettuce over here for our salad. Everybody got one of these beautiful heads of butter lettuce, the cutest. You can dismember this however you would like. How do you go about this? Do you break it and pull it, or do you cut it?
I don't eat lettuce. Full disclosure.
Michelle, how do you go about breaking down your lettuce?
Moving on, Tommy.
When I have seen people eat lettuce,
We're moving on.
you could not have put me in a worse spot.
So that is exactly how I would, and I'm not saying it because you did it that way and you're the professional, but I just would have gone to the tail, I guess is what you would call it, and go that way, just to get it all apart.
So butter lettuce is so beautiful to me. I hate to kind of bust it up. You know, we have a couple of farmers that do these beautiful baby lettuces for us, and sometimes we just serve the whole leaf like this because it's so delicate. If I cut this down too much, this is hard to get on a fork. So sometimes the less you cut, the better it is, honestly. So we're not going to cut this down too much.
It looks so pretty right there. You cut it up and it's going to look like any other head of lettuce.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So we're just going to kind of half it, just so that it's, you know, manageable. But we're not going to get crazy.
I might even eat it. Maybe.
Some people have an allergy to lettuce, so I didn't know if that was.
I didn't know that was a thing, but I'll claim medical exemption from here on.
I do have a family member that's legitimate, so that's really what I thought when you said it.
Of course, we recommend that you wash these leaves, make sure it's free of all the dirt, and make sure that you get all that stuff off of there. I guess I've been out here eating farm produce enough that I like a little dirt on my food. Again, no shame in my game. But we're going to plate it just like this. So we're going to break this down so that we have a little place to make our plates like we're professionals over here. And we should have a good spot where we can kind of get the camera a good angle for us to plate. So I'm going to do one, and then I'll have you guys follow behind me, and you'll do the other three.
Okay.
No pressure. It's going to be
pressure.
Huh. I mean, because I know how to plate food, for sure.
So, of course, in the restaurant, ready-to-eat foods, we always use gloves. You're at your home, cooking for your family. Don't worry about the gloves. But this is the way we would do it. So we would take some of our beautiful lettuce here. We would stack it up really nice, keep all the leaves together. And we're just going to lay it right there. A lot of what we do, and if you follow me on Instagram, you saw this post the other day, a lot of what we do is just trying to stay out of the way and not mess up the products that we get. We get some of the most beautiful produce here. Stuff that's absolutely amazing. So we just do our best to kind of stay out of the way and let it shine. We're just going to drizzle a little bit of vinaigrette over that. Really, this salad could not be any easier. It's lettuce and vinaigrette.
I know my job. I'm coming. I found my role here.
All right, so I'm going to turn y'all loose and let you plate that salad.
Okay, no gloves, or
if you want to go gloves, you're plating for your family.
yeah,
so
okay. I wouldn't
good
do
about
that
it.
for my family. No offense for those watching here tonight.
I feel like since Ashleigh didn't wash the lettuce, it's given us free license to live a little loose here.
Okay.
A little dirt in your food is good for you.
It is good for you. Right. That's not quite how she had it. Hers is pretty perfect.
A nightmare scenario for me.
I'm trying to evenly distribute here amongst the 3 remaining plates that we had.
Oh, this is...
I wish I could figure out how to do this at work, like enjoy a Mai Tai while I watch everybody do the thing. This is the
not
best.
So bad. Okay, maybe. All right.
I have a lot of concern that this is going to end up on social media, and I'll never live this down.
Doing a great job.
Thank you, Chef.
Doing a really
we'll
good job.
have great memes for it.
Oh,
So,
there's
yeah,
no
yeah.
doubt. Yeah, this is, my life is over.
I'll get my friends at the commission and our
Great.
PR agency to try to help us
Great.
come up with some stuff there
Great.
for you. All right.
Look at this.
I mean, I'm thinking that's a solid A between me and Tommy, right?
That looks killer. Y'all did an awesome job.
Okay. All right. Just
I
checking.
support it.
Yeah. Thanks. All right.
All right, so we've got our vinaigrette, we've got our salad, we'll get our bucket of water over here, move this.
Nice job on the
Oh,
salad.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
All right, let's move on to entrees. Really simple entree tonight, composed of shrimp, salsa, and a little bit of rice. So, through the Muppet Magic television, we've got a beautifully made salsa here where all of our stuff is exactly the same size, which actually, like, honestly, next to the one we made today, it looks killer. It looks really good. But, like, look at those next to each other. I think y'all did a fine job.
I would agree with you.
That's success.
Yeah. Ye of little faith who had it already.
I know. I was like, oh, this is going to go really bad. I'll just make this
I
ahead
don't
of
know if you
time.
noticed, but they're not all quarter inch.
Hey.
Oh, finally the boss is here.
That's right.
I've been back there snooping around trying to find all of Chef Ashleigh's recipes, and I couldn't find them. But I did find something that you should probably be aware of. I don't know if y'all need any more salt, but you might not be the only hunter in this building. I found this salt gun.
A salt gun.
Yeah. So
That's for
I don't know
in
if you
case
need
you
any
need a little
salt,
more.
but
Yeah, just in case.
love to load you up. So she might be a good shot to help you get your limit down in
That's right. That's
Pimlico
right.
County.
I'm glad you got here. You got here in the nick of time.
Yes.
The wheels were about to fall off.
Thank goodness.
I've been
come
getting
to
some good
rescue
laughs
us.
behind the scenes. Y'all been having fun. I had to jump in on the action over here, but it really does look awesome.
It smells incredible.
It does.
I
It does.
certainly hope everyone's kitchen is smelling equally as awesome as what we're experiencing, and I'm sure it is because Ashleigh has made this full, absolutely foul-proof and expert professional level for all of us. Hence our salsa that she's now using. Did you notice that?
I'm going with the.
Not even going to
I'm
use
going
Yeah,
with the
that.
team salsa.
right.
I mean, that's basically store-bought.
I
the
mean,
other
I
stuff.
feel like
Going
that's
with the
another
team.
fist bump. Yeah.
I feel like right now the algorithm at Amazon is blowing up. People Googling extra large tweezers.
Yes.
Tweezers, salt guns,
Right. Salt
Tide
guns.
water, grain rice.
That's right. That they can't figure out like why there is a big run on these tweezers tonight.
All right, so what I did there was just a little bit of drizzle of our barbecue butter. We've got our salsa on there, our rice, and I'm gonna let y'all finish.
I call holding the pan.
And you're not going to plate your rice?
Oh, I need to do that for
you,
sure.
You've got to
Oh, I'm
plate the
in.
rice.
Well,
I'm
we can
that
put you
guy.
to work too.
No,
I'll hold
I'm not
the
going to
pan.
steal y'all's thunder. I'm just here
You
to
just
watch.
gonna supervise?
I'm going to taste it. I jumped the gun. I was so hungry. I was drooling over there. I could smell it through the other room.
So hopefully at home you guys are about at this point. You've been working with us and we're about at this time where you're ready to serve up as well. There's no wrong way to do this. We put our rice down first. You've made this really beautiful barbecue butter in your pan when you were sauteing shrimp. Definitely throw a little extra of that on your shrimp at the end. You won't be disappointed with that. I'm not gonna lie, it really does smell good in here.
You know, I cooked this before to get some pictures, and yours looks a lot better than mine did. So
I get a bit panicky at this point, and it becomes like survival rations. Like I just want to eat real quick before somebody takes it. Okay.
All right.
I've done the
All
best
right,
that
so
I can
I'll
do
let you
there.
put down the salsa, and then I'll follow you with the
Okay.
shrimp, and then we'll let you be the official taste tester over here.
I can't wait.
These colors are just fantastic. Thank you to all of our North Carolina sweet potato producers for making sure we had Purple Majesty and Covington orange on this plate. They are gorgeous.
We got a question over there. They're asking if you sell the barbecue seasoning. We must have some fans.
We do not sell the seasoning yet. However, there are plans on the horizon for us to sell some of our seasoning mixes.
God, you're right.
We've got
I
some
got
seasoning
too far
mixes
from my
and some
drink
sauces
here.
that people have been asking for.
So that's a plate full of North Carolina food. You got North Carolina grown rice, North Carolina wild caught shrimp, North Carolina orange and purple sweet potatoes, North Carolina grown tomatoes, North Carolina grown jalapenos. What else? What are we missing?
And the lettuce.
And the microgreens.
And the microgreens.
From Grafted Growers, yep.
As our friends at North Carolina Department of Ag says, goodness grows in NC, baby.
That's right.
Got to be NC.
That's got to be NC.
Right.
Lettuce, we forgot the lettuce. North Carolina grown as well. So.
All right, Will. Let's get you. You're gonna have to do it chef style. So chef style with a spoon and a big knife. But
I get the honors of that. So what do I try first?
It's up to you. You know, the shrimp is delicious by itself, but a big spoonful of it all together, can't go wrong.
I think that's a good idea. Am I supposed to cut the tail off, or did I just?
Or you just pick it up like a handle. No, it's okay.
You know what? I think that's what Tommy would do, and I want to be more like Tommy. So I'm going to put a lot of food on this spoon, and then I'm going to pick up the shrimp, and I'm just going to chase it.
That's totally okay. If you're at home, just pick that thing up and eat it. It's okay.
I guess the spoon first.
Yeah, I feel like that's the right play.
Mm-hmm. That was good.
You okay?
Amazing.
It was all my assistance.
Chef says, what do we do with the cheese?
It's a fine question.
Tommy loves cheese. What would you do with it, Tommy?
Did we miss a
Did
step?
it go in the sausage somewhere?
No.
No?
Well, see, what you do is you take 2 pieces of bread and a little bit of your leftover butter.
Yes, it would be a sprinkle. What kind of cheese do we get?
That might have been a free giveaway.
Is it Conchita cheese or?
I'm hogging the table. Y'all get up there and try that.
We're too far committed. We're in a no cheese program.
That's amazing.
It's a fine question. If I was you, I'm not sure what kind of cheese there is, but if I was you, I would put the cheese on top of the salsa, and I would roll with it.
I don't want to hold y'all back any further. I had to watch in agony as y'all cook this.
Y'all want to come try it?
Oh, I'm bringing my spoon.
Let me. I'll get some proper silverware.
I've been
mine.
rocking the same spoon since the beginning.
What do we think? Success?
I'm gonna finish my plate before you even get a bite.
Cotija cheese. I would recommend sprinkling that on the salsa. I didn't have cotija cheese in my box. You won. Whoever got cotija cheese in their box, that was a big win.
Man.
So while y'all are eating, I'm gonna do a little talking now. It's really cool that all this stuff was grown right here in North Carolina. It's really cool that we've got an awesome restaurant like Blue Jay Bistro, some awesome partners like Tidewater Grain, North Carolina Sweet Potato Commission, and so many sponsors that help put on this event. So we're just thankful for everybody. What's really cool is that our mobile market, that bus that was outside, takes these same vegetables and fruits into communities in a pay-what-you-can manner. And so at Ripe Revival and at Ripe for Revival through our nonprofit, it's really important for us to make sure that all communities have access to affordable, fresh, healthy, local produce. And our pay-what-you-can market, which is really the beneficiary of this event and all these awesome people and all of you for participating, all the proceeds go to that mobile market program. And so I think it goes without saying that I just want to thank y'all personally for being involved, being willing to help put this on, to shut down your restaurant for a night, to host this awesome event, to teach us so much. I learned so much standing in the corner over there from you. I didn't learn a whole lot from Tommy, but a little bit about rice. I always learn from Michelle.
I'm making the folks at home comfortable cooking this, Will.
You're here for effect. That's right.
Right.
I love it. And you're going to be at the next one, too. So if y'all enjoy Tommy, just make sure you buy a ticket for the next one because we're ready now. He's primed. But, you know, we're just super grateful for everybody being a part of this. And one of our taglines at Ripe Revival and Ripe for Revival is unity through community. And I can't think of a better way to talk about unity through community than through agriculture and food, because that's what brings us together, and we can all sit around the table coming from different walks of life. You know, Ashley's from Texas. Tommy's from Pamlico County. I don't know, originally it's church days. Where were you from?
That's right, Rockingham.
Rockingham.
That's right. Rockingham.
Michelle's,
right.
from Cary originally.
Originally.
And I'm just a coachable from Rocky Mount, North Carolina. But we're all together cooking up some good stuff and having fun telling the world about it. So just wanted to say thanks to everybody,
very cool.
and
Thank
thanks
you
to
for
y'all at
having
home.
Well, thank you for having us, and thanks for the vision that you've had to allow us to make all this possible. And thank you all for joining us tonight. I hope you've had fun. We plan to do this again. I hope you'll come join us.
Well, I think that's really important, is that this is the first of many
Right.
Reviving the Supper Club Chef Series
Amazing.
events. And so
It's going to be hard to top this one with
it
Chef
is.
Ashleigh.
Yeah, this
For
recipe
sure.
is great. And Ashley, I'm sure we're going to have to come back and do it again if you're willing to do it. So
I would love to do it again. As long as you promise that Tommy
Let's-
and Michelle get to come back.
Let's
And
start over.
Spencer's
Let's
food
run it
tip.
back. Let's cook
We'll
another
have
meal
Do
to
the
right
whole
now.
thing again.
And thank you to everybody behind the scenes that's not on the camera for all the hard work that went into this event. But we look forward to serving y'all again, and thank y'all so much. See y'all soon.